Hi, I'm Joe Theismann, world champion quarterback and entrepreneur, and I have the pleasure today to sit and visit with Dr. Mamiko Odegard, a coach, a person who helps people with relationships and helps people get through situations of their own. Do you remember your first coach, the first person you coached?
Yes, I do.
How difficult was that? Just start this, it's like being a coach of anything. The first time you do it, do you really know what you're doing, or do you sort of feel your way through it as you help your client through the situation a little?
Well, I actually cheated because
Okay,
I've
that's
had
fair.
over 30 years of professional experience as a psychologist, as a therapist, as a college instructor, and now as a coach. And so for me, talking with people and finding out about their needs and wants is really like falling off of a log. I can do it so easily.
Who wouldn't want to tell you everything?
That's
I'm
right.
just sitting here with you. I'm thinking, I've got some things I may want to talk to you about. Not on camera, obviously, but it's, your personality is very engaging. I think it's very important. Coaches are teachers. I think,
Yes,
am I right?
absolutely.
And that's part of the quality of being a great coach, is being a great teacher. I think being a great teacher is not just sharing information, but listening.
Right.
Is that one of the keys to what you do, to be able to listen to people?
Yes, that's one of the keys, but I also want to share another key that's really so important, and that is not only do I listen, but I really need to have the skill level and the experiences to help that other person get there. It's not simply about listening, because my whole background, as I mentioned, is that I felt like I was destined to help people achieve that extraordinary state.
When did you first start to feel that way?
I've been devoting almost my whole life to it. For instance, I came to the United States when I was 7 years old.
From
Japan.
Okay.
And that's when I really began to get a sense of shame. And shame, Joe, is very different than guilt, because with guilt, we do something wrong and we feel bad. But with shame, it's a feeling of being different, being inferior, being less than, and we don't have to do anything wrong. And in fact, what happened is that I was teased and I was bullied about my appearance. And so not only was I different, but I was indeed not only looking different, but I was different because I didn't speak the language. I didn't know how to read or write. Obviously, my appearance was different, to the point where I began to be self-conscious and ashamed, not only of my ethnicity, but even of my name, where that showed that I was really different. And so there were a lot of barriers to overcome. And even as I got older, I was introduced to other layers of shame. For instance, that of being poor. If you can believe this, at one time in my life, my parents and I lived right next door to my elementary school. And not only did we live next door, but we lived in an apartment where all my other friends lived in big, beautiful homes with professionals and entrepreneurs as parents. But I lived in a one-bedroom place where I either slept in my parents' bed or I slept on the sofa, and then all of us had to use a common bathroom down the hall of this building that was shared with other tenants.
At what age did things finally start to change for you?
I made it my mission to continually to work on my self-development, my confidence, my acceptance of myself, and self-love of myself. And so, to answer your question, it was an evolving process, but there was a real hallmark in this. And that is, because I had been working on myself and because I had become a master at developing relationships, close, deep relationships with people, then when I met my husband, Greg, the love of my life, in college, You know, he totally accepted me and loved me for the person that I was and am, and just really facilitated and supported my growth. And so, you know, if I look at that, that was a hallmark. It was such an important blessing in my life to have met Greg.
And then you found out on top of that, I mean, you know, we all have, I call them lines of demarcation. There's a point where you cross it where the world becomes different for you.
Yes.
And it sounds like meeting Greg was the big moment for you to be able to find someone who believed in you. And was it what he said? Was it the way he looked at you? Because I would guess that you would take some of the things that happened in that experience, that Hallmark experience in your life, and be able now to try and look at other people and see if they can find that moment.
That's exactly right. You know, I was so grateful and so happy in getting that love because, you know, Joe, you know this, that there's no other feeling like being in love, being loved, loving yourself, and showing that love to others. And so, you know, I wanted everybody to have that happiness, love, and success, and to be their own person. So no matter what background, no matter how you looked, that, you know, each person can really be loving of themselves and they can attract that love and have that happiness. And I wanted everybody to experience that.
Now, if people wanted to get a hold of you, Dr. Odegard, how would they find you?
They would find me by going to www.drmamiko, and that's Dr. Mamiko, which is MAMIKO.com.
Now, is there a period after doctor, or is it just DR?
Just DR.
Okay.
Dr. Mamiko.
Tell them one more time. Where can we find you?
It's www.drmamiko.com.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you.